Hi there, it's Jax. I'm just going to make hopefully a very quick video, or somewhat quick video, just for a little bit of entertainment value. What I have here is a bag of frozen deer meat, and I'm going to use a ancient file knife and a blacksmith hammer to break a chunk of that off to give my buddy over there while she's hanging out while I make some videos. So just give me a second here. And then I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do a little edge retention test on a saw blade knife. So I'm just adjusting the camera. This is a really neat knife. It's a ancient file knife made out of a really thick file. And my grandpa made this, and my dad gave it to me one day. And so I don't know if this is 60 or 50 years old or 40 years old, but it's kind of neat that my grandpa had made it. So I've been using it for my dog Abby likes to get deer meat in the winter when it's anyways, our hunting season for deer in Canada here is in the fall, and so she has pieces of deer meat that she likes to chew on. So I'm gonna hammer a slab of this off and give it to her, and she knows it's coming. These, by the way, these file knives, if you temper them really low, temper them really high temperature to really soften them up, almost like a K-bar or Camillus UMC U.S. military, you know the USMC fighting knives or whatever. Pardon me. I think they're tempered into like the 54, 53 on the Rockwell scale, on the HRC scale, and they could be really tough. They lose a bit of their strength, but they gain a whole lot of toughness. So this is a file knife and high carbon, and if you temper it low, it makes a pretty tough blade. So this meat is frozen, so let's take a chunk off that. Oops. All right, there we go. So we got our chunk of meat, and my dog Abby loves this stuff. I mean, that's pure frozen deer meat. What's that? You want that? Are you still hungry? You want to try that out? No? All right. I don't know if she's hungry. If she's hungry, she'll dig into it, I guess. But so, anyways, I just received an email asking me how the edge retention is on these super thin handsaw blades, and to be honest, I don't know, because I just kind of finished these and I only used them for slicing some food in the kitchen and stuff like that. So I'm not too sure. I haven't put them through enough use. So you know, I think what I'll do is I'll whittle some wood, but at first I'll grab a piece of paper to test the sharpness out. And if I can find one, sorry, bear with me for a second. Okay, so anyways, I'm actually having a hard time finding a piece of paper here, but something that doesn't have some kind of writing on it. Well, Abby's gonna go for the deer meat. So anyways, there's some cardboard on the floor, and these things are really sharp right off the bat. So hang on a sec, I'm just gonna cut a piece of cardboard here. I don't know if you saw that, but cardboard's really abrasive on knives. Is that good stuff or what? Eh? Good stuff? Yeah, frozen pure raw meat. So anyways, I'll put the camera down. Sorry guys, I'm kind of all over the place, but hopefully I'm in frame. So I'll just go back here, and here's the initial sharpness. This is that little Warncliffe made out of the handsaw blade, so it's super thin. And even though it's thin, it's still pretty strong. If you bent it enough, it would probably snap, unless you tempered it really high temperature tempering on it. So piece of thick 1/8 inch cardboard, and oops, it's harder than I thought to cut, but it does indeed blast through it. So what I'm going to do here is so that's the initial sharpness. It's very sharp. So here's a block of pine. So what I'm going to do is and it really cuts this wood, like, man, that's sharp. It's really very sharp. Man, that really works nice, those thin knives, because it flexes and takes a nice sliver off, eh? So it's really working better. Wow, this would make an excellent woodworking knife. Like, it's incredible, actually. That is awesome. Did you finish that deer meat? Holy smokes. But wow, look at that. It really cuts pretty good. Yeah. Super thin blade. There's a knot. That's a good test. They went through that knot like lickety split. That's a good sign. This is for, I hope I'm saying it right, but it's Faction Knives. Asked how the edge retention is on these blades. Now keep in mind that I tempered this at, I can't remember if it was 360 or 390 or 400 degrees, so I left it really hard. Of course, edge retention is going to go down if you temper the blade at a high temperature and therefore lower the overall Rockwell setting, but I'm really impressed with how this is slicing. I mean, there's that knot right there, and it's cut through it a few times. Okay, so we whittled that much off it. I'm going to test the edge, and you know what? It's pretty sharp. Here's my arm. It's still shaving hair, and cardboard, still a clean cut. So let's keep on. Now, if you were cutting meat or vegetables, as you can see from cutting wood and stuff like that, you already know this is going to last for quite a while. Although kitchen knives go through a hell of a lot of abuse, because a lot of people cut on cutting boards that might be plastic or glass or something like that, and that's hard on the edge of your knives. So I'm really quite impressed with how this is turning out. I haven't actually used my knives for anything other than my saw blade knives for anything other than I cut some garlic and some meat and food with them in the kitchen. So there's that knot, that big old knot, and keep in mind this is a partial tang. But man, does this ever work good for putting nice little cutting? You know, this would be good for feather sticks, is what this would be good for, because it really does an excellent job. I'm quite surprised by it. It really takes awesome chips off. I hope I'm in view here, by the way. I don't know, hopefully I'm in view. I hope you guys are seeing this. I just realized I might not be in frame. Keep in mind, this stuff is, oh God, it just blasts through that. I'm actually, yeah, it's doing good. Okay, so let's take a peek here. I hope I'm in frame there. Oh, you know what? I might have not been in frame there, so I'm just gonna tilt the camera a tad here. There, or hopefully that's a little bit better. And then straighten it out. Okay, sorry guys. So here's this thick block of wood. This is what I've done to it so far. And this is how thin that knife is, that Wharncliffe. And hopefully I'm in frame. Still grabs my fingernail. Sorry, Abby. Still shaves. That's pretty amazing. So anyways, hopefully I'm in camera. That knot went all the way through the bloody wood. Oops. So, Faction Custom Knives, my Australian fellow knife maker. I think this answers the question better than I honestly could have hoped for, really. I mean, this thing, that saw blade stuff is awesome. Wow, that's amazing. Like, look at this. Look at what I did to this thing. Admittedly, this is pine and not maple or something, but for a blade that thin, and I got a pretty sharp mirror polish on that, and these pieces, these shavings, that, man, does that do a nice job. The shavings of this thing, I mean, it really takes off a nice wide piece there. So anyways, let me put this down and do the cardboard test, and see what's what here. Pardon me. So, let me see what's happening here. So, still cuts cardboard cleanly. The cardboard's super abrasive, super hard on the edges. This is pretty thick, heavy-duty kind of cardboard, and still blasting through it. In some knife edge retention tests, you find that the steel dulls really quickly on just a few feet of cardboard. Cardboard really takes that initial sharpness right off a knife. So I'm running out of this cardboard. I don't be careful I don't slice my fingers, but after all that cardboard, it's still shaving hair. That is actually very surprising. So that answers the question. If a blade that's that thin, literally thinner than a match, than a wooden match, can have edge retention. And you know what, guys? You wouldn't want to get cut with this thing right now. It's still that sharp. Admittedly, I had this thing mirror polished to maybe 1,000 grit. As you can see by the shimmering edge, it's really sharp. It was really sharp to begin with. And as flexible as it, you know, that's awesome performance. I better not stab into that because my dad is putting a deck into his boat. So, so you know what? I think, you know what, Faction Knives, I think the edge retention, if you heat treat it, is and you get the tempering right, is going to be pretty good. Another thing I got to check is, did the blade chip? No chips, no rolls, no folds, nothing like that. I'm actually really pleasantly surprised. No chips or rolls or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of neat. I'm glad you asked that question, and that just adds a little more faith into what you can do with a handsaw blade. And you know what? In the kitchen, this is going to make a hell of a slicer. You're going to blast through meat and stuff like that. And you know, it did really well on that wood there. I'm really pleasantly surprised, actually. So anyways, I made my mom a paring knife out of this same stuff. Great little gifts you can make out of that. And a paring knife would be something like this. I kind of made this as a utility style knife because Wharncliffes are good at draw slicing and stuff like that. But I can't believe how good this shaved through that wood. So anyways, guys, I better get on to the reason why I was in the garage in the first place, and that's to make a video on how to sharpen a hawk bill or recurve blade, and hopefully I don't screw that up. But so anyways, edge retention on a thin saw blade. If you heat treat it right, maybe temper it, or if you quench it right and temper it somewhere around 400 or 390 degrees, or till the steel turns a golden brown color with maybe just starting to turn into the purples too for the tempering colors. So from me and the picks, I can't believe that's a 15-minute video already. So from me and the picks here, you gonna shake on it? That's a good knife, eh, picks? Is that a good knife? From me and the picks, it's edge retention and a dog eating raw deer meat at 3 in the morning in Canada. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching and take care, and talk to you later.